What up, y'all? I am back. This is what I look like when I'm about to go to bed. This is what my bed looks like when I'm about to go to bed. But I figured, let me just do this video because I'm kind of bored before I go lay down. But I wanted to just chat with, anyone willing to watch this video here about why I believe they constantly want you in a state of inebriation, drunk, being high, being under the influence of things. This is something I'm just gonna, speak off the cuff about this topic here. I've been wanting to talk about it, like with many of the videos that I have on this channel or I have in store. I've been wanting to talk about it for some time. It's just laziness, to be honest with you, and finding time when I'm not sleeping and doing other things, to record those videos kept me from it. But I'm here now, like I said, and I wanted to just bring up this idea of why they want you to constantly be in a state of drunkenness, right? In a state of just not thinking clearly. Now, when I say they, I mean people who benefit from you not being woke or alert. And I mean woke in the sense of like what the actual meaning is, not the insult that people on the conservative side or the right or whatever say that the word means, right? So pretty much that's what I'm saying. Like, they want you to constantly not be someone who's in high alert or whatever the case is. I want to preface this video by saying, yes, I am someone who does not drink and does not smoke. Straight edge is what the term is to describe people like me. If that's the case, then sure. I didn't even go by that title. I mean, I don't go by that title, but if someone were to say, oh, so you live the straight edge life, I guess just to simplify for them, sure. My understanding of straight edge was somebody who used to partake in those things and no longer does it, and then they called it, being straight edge or whatever, because they're no longer, consuming alcohol or under the influence of any type of drug. They don't smoke, none of that stuff, right? But I guess it also applies, or it does primarily apply to people like me who've never done that stuff in the first place, right? So if that's the lifestyle, if that's the title and that's the meaning for said lifestyle, cool. Personally speaking, why I don't drink or smoke, it's because, one, I do like to be in a state of alertness all the time, right? I know there's always people saying things like, well, when I smoke, I be talking about this, that, and the third, and I be all these, and honestly, I've always thought that was a lie, to put it bluntly. Because I've been around people who were high and they wanted to have these intellectual conversations. I don't know what is going on my PlayStation app, but cool. Anyways, I've been around these folks who were high, right, or under the influence of something, and mostly weed, because it's usually weed smokers who will say things like, when I smoke, when I am smoked, that's when I am the smartest, or that's when I am this and that's when I am that. When in actuality, I think you're so damn high you can't even tell. Like that, you sound goofy right now. When I've been around folks like that, again, they didn't sound smart. They weren't intelligent or whatever. The thing is, what I think happens in those situations, and I don't know, I'm no psychologist, I'm no drug enthusiast, but what I think happens is a lot of the topics, right? A lot of the discussions, these individuals, when they're under the influence of whatever they're under the influence, I think that when they're sober, they don't want to think about those situations, right? Or they're too afraid. I think it's two things. One, And they don't want to think about the theoretical things that they think about when they're high, right? Two, they're too afraid to even mention or talk about these things, right? Because they don't want to seem stupid. So they need to take something that will give them the courage, per se, for them to speak their mind on these theoretical subjects, right? I keep putting it in quotation marks because a lot of the stuff is not really theories or anything of that nature, right? It's just stuff that they're afraid to say when they're sober, right? So I think that's what's happening. I don't think it's actually people getting smarter while getting high. I think it's them just not caring about how people are perceiving them when they're speaking about whatever they're speaking about, as opposed to when they're in a sober state. They get anxious. They start to care. They start to shut themselves down and silence themselves because they're afraid of looking stupid, right? Or looking away. You look dumb high saying these things, so you might as well be in a sober state and say these things and work through your thoughts while you're sober. That's my advice. But aside from, again, the aspect of me just constantly always wanting to be in a sober state, I've never really liked the taste of either alcohol. I don't like the smell or the taste of alcohol or weed or any other type of smoke, drug, whatever. None of that stuff gravitated toward me in the first place. I've had sips of alcohol before. Hated it. Hated every fucking sip. Hated it. Nothing. It could be the fruitiest drink and it all tastes disgusting to me, right? I don't have a taste for it. I've never smoked before, but I hate the smell. People will be like, oh, this smells great, that smells great. I think dank is one of the worst smells in history. If you can make a worst smells list, and I would know what smells bad, alright? But like, and that's not a joke on me stinking, that's a joke on my nose for those who think, a nigga stank over here. Nah, I would know what smells great too, alright? So I would know if anyone would know. But in all seriousness though, I think dank is one of the worst smells of all, like, just ever. So that, other types of weed, there's never been any type of smoke. Literally the only thing that I feel like, in a way, it's bad still, and I have no interest in it, but it still smells good, is, when people walk by with their fruity little vapes. And I'm not saying fruity little vapes as an insult. Like, I mean, literally it smells like some type of fruit. Like a fruit roll-up, right? They walk around smoking on a fruit roll-up, right? So that's why I keep saying the fruit little vape. But that stuff smells good. I'm not going to front. It does smell good, but it still doesn't entice me to say, okay, I want to start vaping now, because I know what's inside that stuff, and that stuff is still disgusting. So I don't want to ingest that in my body, and therefore I don't do so in the first place, okay? It's that simple. So those are the main two reasons. Other reasons, there are family things as to why I don't drink. Not going to get too much into it, but I feel like there are members of my family, especially the men, when they're drunk, they are not the wisest or most calm individuals. I'm just gonna put it that way. I have some angry drunks in my family. That's all I'm gonna say. I know how I get when I'm angry. Whenever I'm like really angry, I want to drink something. I used to drink soda a lot. Yeah, because I was addicted to it, but because that was how I would calm myself down. Now when I get angry, I rarely get super angry nowadays, but now when I do so, I go for the old tried and true water. That's not all the time. That's not the only time I'm drinking water. I drink water all the time. But especially if there are moments where I get very angry, my first thought still is I need a drink. I need a drink. So I go and then I just get some water, preferably cold. It has to be cold when I'm super angry. When it's warm or, room temp, whatever the case is, I'm not angry. But if it's super, super, super cold, it's either I'm really hot or I'm really angry, or it's both. So it's like, that's why I'm like, imagine if I did drink and every time I got really, really angry, I went straight for the liquor cabinet, or if I had one, right? I went straight for the liquor cabinet, or I went straight to the store and bought some alcohol and stuff. That'd be crazy, especially in my younger years, again, when I was replace all the soda I was drinking with the alcohol. One, I don't think I'd be here today, and two, I wouldn't be in the health that I have, right? The health that I have. I wouldn't have that today had I replaced all that soda with alcohol. Now, I'm not saying soda is the best thing to drink when you're angry again. I stopped drinking that consistently years ago, right? But again, had I been doing both, because I know people like to mix soda with their alcohol and alcohol with other beverages as well. Had I been doing both, like I said, I don't think I'd be here. I'd either be dead right now, or I wouldn't be in the best shape now, health-wise, right? Okay, so now let's get right into why I believe that the people who want to continue on pushing this notion of people drinking, being drunk, and all this other stuff. And it goes to what I said in my first point, really. I think that when you're in a state of just being under the influence of something, you obviously and clearly don't think straight at all. We are in a time right now where a lot of people are waking up to how the world is. A lot of people can attribute that to 2020. I don't like it when people attribute every awakening to 2020, especially when it's like myself and others have been speaking about a lot of the things since way before 2020. A lot of the awakenings that people are having right now, we've known about this stuff prior to 2020. So it's like, it's kind of an insult when y'all, simply because you woke up at 2020 doesn't mean that, I'm not trying to say I'm better than you because I knew about or my awakening or whatever happened prior to 2020. I'm simply just saying, don't attribute everything to the pandemic in 2020, essentially, and make it seem as though the world has just been awake for 6 years now, right? There's been members of this world who've been awake for the past 12 years or so. Even those who are older than myself who've been aware longer than me. So longer than 12 years, longer than the past 6 years or so, right? So, just keep that in mind. But when you're in a state of awareness and you're questioning the systems, you're questioning the hypocrisy that's going on, you're able to do that when you're in a sober state. Now, maybe, and when I say things, I gotta make this clear as well, because people always like to, push certain ideas or talking points onto you that you never said. When I say I choose not to drink or smoke, doesn't mean that I'm trying to pressure anybody not to do the same. I am saying in a way, and I will share a video clip of someone saying, sharing facts about the ugliness of alcohol.
There are no healthy alcohols. All alcohol is very bad for you, every single one. I'm going to give you the alternatives and the best ones to drink. But when I do that, some people in the comments be like, yes, that's the only one I drink. It's all very bad. It's the third leading cause of cancer behind obesity and smoking. It shrinks your brain. It goes straight to the liver from ethanol to acetaldehyde. Acetaldehyde is a poison, and it kills all of the cells indiscriminately because alcohol is fat and water soluble, so it can get into any cell. Now it gets to your liver and it's destroying your liver as your liver is trying to turn the acetaldehyde into acetate, which we could actually use as fuel. But alcohol is an empty calorie because it doesn't give us any nutrients and we have to do so much in order to metabolize it. The liver, while it's metabolizing it, it's now not burning fat and it's actually storing fat and becoming less able to detox your body. Your liver is how your body detoxes. Your alcohol is going to destroy all of your gut bacteria. So you're going to have a weak gut. You're going to have a weakened gut lining. The mucus in your gut lining is going to deteriorate, which means there's going to be more things leaking out of your sewage system and getting into the body. It also disrupts the brain as well. It can cross the blood-brain barrier because it's water and fat soluble. The resveratrol that you might get from the wine is not enough. You have to drink an obscene amount of wine to get the resveratrol effects that you can find in like seeded grapes or just taking resveratrol, and that is going to counteract any of the health benefits of wine. The light beers and all of that are super bad for you. Beer is probably the worst because it has all of these GMO grains that the alcohol is created from. And 44% of the population can't even digest folic acid, and that is what all the grains are enriched with, folic acid. You cannot digest it, most people, because they have THFR gene mutation, which doesn't allow you to even convert the folic acid. So now you have this buildup of folic acid and this buildup of alcohol in the body. And that's why the sugary drinks are super bad, because you fill up with all the sugar, your body processes the sugar before the alcohol, and then the alcohol hits like in an influx to your liver. So all alcohol is bad. It's going to make your brain smaller. It's going to increase your risk for cancer. It's going to make you sleep very poorly and you're not getting all of the benefits you can from your sleep. It's going to impair cognitive function. It's very bad for you. Now, if you're going to drink alcohol, because a lot of people drink alcohol, tequila is going to be the best because it turns into acetaldehyde the slowest. And we want that process to be very slow. At the number two, like number one is like, this is the healthiest. Number two is like below right here. And that's going to be like your clear alcohol is probably like your vodkas and your gins, very clear with nothing additional on it. Then it's your red wine. And then after that, it's just all super bad for you. The white wines have too much sugar. The carbonation has the alcohol get to your system better. All the sugary drinks are very bad for you. All the beers are super bad for you.
You do what you want at the end of the day. You know, that's my advice for everybody. I don't just say that to people who receive tarot readings from me or watch my tarot videos. I say that to anybody in general. You do what you want at the end of the day. I have no problem. I'll make it clear to everybody. I have zero problems with you if you smoke or drink. I'm not judging you. My problem comes in with people when they try to force me to do these things, right? When they do it around me, knowing that I don't like it happening around me, and then they try to make me feel some type of way or whatever. One, you're never going to make me feel like an outcast or a weirdo or whatever for not doing that thing. But also, stop trying to force me to partake in whatever you want to partake in. If you want to do that, cool. That's my thing. Don't call me over to hang out, or don't try to come over here just so you can do all that shit. First of all, the HOU here, you know what I'm saying? They not fucking around. You know, you can't smoke up in this motherfucker. Now, as much as I don't like it here, I definitely want to leave on my own terms. Not because I'm getting kicked out, because when you dusty niggas wanting to come over and smoke, somebody smelt it, and now I'm being kicked out, right? Because I can't crash on your couch. You're not going to let me have that. So there is that. But yeah, it's like, I'm not here to try to control you. I'm here to simply state my opinion and talk about a trend that I've noticed. It's not something that is super relevant. Well, it is relevant, but it's not something that is like super in your face now, because I think that their attempts, they're either going back to the drawing board to try to get people to start drinking again, and they're going to use things like people are not socializing, this, that, and the third. I'm going to bring that stuff up as well. And society is having less babies and less people are being born, and because the numbers of people who drink have dropped. Well, people don't want to have children in a world that's this fucked up. Not everybody. Some people want to be responsible. If they are going to be parents, they want to be the responsible parents to where they can financially take care of their kids. If they're struggling to financially take care of themselves, why the fuck are you encouraging them to bring life into the world? Isn't that what you all would say to the poor black and brown people in neighborhoods with multiple kids? You would down them, you would down the poor folks in general who lived in neighborhoods who are on welfare, and say things like, you shouldn't have kids if you weren't financially able to feed those mouths. Why do you need EBT? Why are you getting free money, right? Why do you need it? You shouldn't have had kids if you couldn't afford it, but now you're trying to pressure, especially the younger generation, the older Gen Zs. You're trying to pressure them, the ones fresh out of college or so, that they should hurry up and have kids because the numbers are declining. They should start drinking because there's not a lot of drunken sex happening, irresponsible drunken sex happening, and babies aren't being made because of drunken hot sex anymore. I won't say anymore, but not at the rate that it once was. Which one is it? Should people make sure that they're financially in a good footing, or should they be ashamed for having sex and having children when they're not in the best financial state? I know what the true answer is. I know what the reason is as to why they're saying these things, but I want to bring that question up for anybody out there who wants to continue pushing the status quo of, well, this should happen or that should happen, this, that, and the third. No. To anybody out there, again, they want you in a state of drunkenness because they don't want you to ask questions like this. They don't want you to watch videos like this and be aware. If you high out of your mind, the first thing you gonna talk about is, look at this dude's nose. Like a fucking crackhead, right? If you drunk as hell, you're not gonna be on YouTube watching me or anybody else. You gonna be, I don't know, doing some drunk people shit, right? So, with that being said, if you are in those states of stupidity, you do stupid things. You still fall into the system of slavery, wage slavery especially. You don't fight back. You don't rebel because you're not strong enough. You're not aware enough. You don't know what to fight against because they will tell you who to fight against, and it's usually to fight against your best interests. All these things are interconnected. I can go on forever about this video, but all these things are very much interconnected. I could probably do a part 2, 3, 4, 5, and I just might because I don't want to keep this super long. I'm probably going to end it soon and get just this base area done with this type of video, and then try to record some more because I'm fired up now to record some more. But yeah, they want you in a state of constantly being what's the word? I don't want to use the word inebriated again, but there's another word that I want to use. If I can find it, I'm going to post it on the screen, or if I can think of it, because stuff like that usually happens as soon as I hit pause, or as soon as I hit end record, and then that word is going to come to mind toward editing. So if that happens, it's just going to show up on the screen. But they want you in a state of pretty much not being aware. I'm going to use that phrase for now. And that's why they're sending out, their good old boys to talk about the lack of baby making, drunk baby making, and their newscast stations, right? You know, their indoctrination stations is what I call them, right? You know, having, you know, certain podcasters. Like, again, if I can find that clip, I want to share that clip as well in this video, to where y'all can see what I'm referencing, of some podcaster who, again, wants to continue to push the status quo. But you stay woke, you stay making smart decisions, you stay aware of what the heck is going on, and again, for those who do partake in extracurricular activities, adult extracurricular activities, let me just say, you do what you want to do. My last bit of advice is just be aware, you know. But you do what you want to do. At the end of the day, you don't got to be straight edge like me to be strong, to be aware. But if you're constantly drunk, if you're constantly high, ain't no way in hell you can say that you are aware of what's going on if you're constantly in those states. It's your drunkenness and your highness, I guess, clouding your judgment. Again, like the example I gave before, where the people think they're saying something smart when they're high, when it's like actually you sound goofy. And if you were to actually face your fears and say these things when you're not sober, you can work through these things out loud, instead of having the weed cloud your judgment and tell you that you're not stupid, or you don't sound stupid, and you're not formulating, you know, there's not that side of your brain that is challenging what you're saying, is what I'm trying to say. But anyways, that's all I have to say now. Again, if I have more to say, there will be a part 2. But yeah, y'all let me know what you think in the comment section below. Why is there seems to be an uptick on you know, pushing people to get back to having drunk sets? But no, why is there an uptick? It seems to push people to continue to drink, to continue to get high, to continue to make irresponsible decisions while under the influence of something. Would love to know your thoughts. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Until next time, until next video. You see me when you see me. Peace out.